Hi, I'm Iris, the designer behind Iris Makes. Today I'm going to show you how to work icord straps 2 at a time. For this tutorial I'm going to use a helix crop top and I'll put the link to the pattern in the notes. So I've worked the pattern up until the point where the instructions tell you to work the icord strap. And so in this pattern you work the triangle on this side first, which is your left when you're wearing it, and then you knit the right side. At the end of the left side, instead of knitting the icord strap, I simply placed the stitches on hold using a stitch marker, like this. And I kept the yarn live, so connected to the ball of yarn. In this case, I have this strand of yarn coming from the outside of this ball of yarn, and then I reattached the second piece of yarn from the inside of this ball of yarn to work the other triangle. And I worked this to the same point as this one, so just before the instructions tell you to work the icord strap. So this means I have 2 live pieces of yarn connected to the same ball of yarn, but you can also have 2 separate balls of yarn. Okay, so if you are working this pattern the way it's stated in the instructions, you'll end up with both of your live strands of yarn on the left hand side of the stitches. So in order to work an icord, the next thing you'll want to do is slide the stitches from where they ended, which would be on the right hand needle like this, to the left hand needle and begin working again like this, which will pull the yarn over and create a tube. However, to work 2 at a time, we want to get this needle over here. So what we're going to do is pick up these stitches and we're going to use the left hand needle to reinstate these stitches. So make sure the first stitch that you pick up is the last stitch that you just worked at the end of the top piece. Okay, so depending on how you have kept these stitches live, you might need to either remove the marker, or if the needle is small enough, you can slide the stitches on before removing the marker. Okay, so I've slid the stitches back onto the needle with the live stitch or the last work stitch on the left hand side. I can now remove this marker, which is holding my stitches. And at this point, I should have both icord straps on my left hand needle, both with the last worked stitch on the left hand side and the stitch we want to work next on the right hand side. Okay, so now we simply take the other end of our needle. We make sure we take the correct working yarn for each strap. So in this case, that's this one. And we knit 4 stitches of this icord. And then we swap to the other working yarn. These are separate. And then we knit these 4 stitches. So after the first row of icord, we end up with both of the straps on the right hand needle and the last work stitch on the left. So simply pull the cable back through again so that your stitches are now ready to be worked again from the other side. Again, make sure you get the correct working yarn. And you can see that the icord straps are starting to form. So there are several advantages of working your icord straps like this. The first, and probably the most important one, is that they will be exactly the same length, which is easier said than done when you're knitting them one by one and trying to count the number of stitches. It also means you spend less time pulling the needles through because you're doing it on 2 straps at once. So there you have it, 2 at a time icord straps. If you found this video helpful, please let me know in the comments, like this video and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials, and why not check out my knitting podcast where I talk all things knitwear design. Thank you.